Bruce-Grey-Owen sound.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Thank the member from Mississauga Erin Mills for her speech. She talked about and highlighted the need that the current bail system needs to be improved. Changes need to happen. So I just got two kind of simple questions for Madam Speakers. One, does she agree it's an urgent problem and the second part of the question is how much time is realistic to address this urgent problem and make these necessary changes to bail reform in our bail system in Canada?
The honourable member for Mississauga Erin Mills.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And the whole point of it is that there is no flip of a switch. There is no one legislation that is going to fix the issue of bail reform in our country. As I was trying to say, that this is a multifaceted problem. We do need to engage the provincial territorial governments, the regional governments. We need to ensure that they have the support that they need to administer the justice. Now, over the past 7 years of our government, we have been slowly putting in legislation that is helping to improve the bail reform of the bail system and the bail regime in Canada. But we really appreciate the opposition's support in all of these bills as they go forward.
Bruce-Grey-Owen sound.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. And the member from Richmond Hill gave us a very long overview of what the bill is intended to do and what Bill 75 or C-75 is supposed to do. However, I want to share some facts. My riding alone, December of this past year, drive-by shooting, one of the charges, possession of a firearm contrary to a probation order. Man attacked with hammer. Again, several charges, including several counts of breach of probation. That was in December as well. November, man and a woman arrested, numerous drug charges, but again, man charged with additional 2 counts of a breach of a weapons prohibition. Into another one in my riding, multiple agencies and a drug bust. Again, charges tied to a prohibition order. So my question is, if this bill is so good and we don't need bail reform, why do the stats show that it's not working and we desperately need changes to our bail system?
Member for Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my colleague. Indeed, in Richmond Hill, we also face similar situation. But what I want to draw the distinction with is between what does the bill enables, what the bill prohibits, and what does the bill enacts, versus the execution, which is in the hands of the provinces as well as the police force. So it is in the hands of the judge to be able to make that determination. The laws are there to support the judge, the justice system, the police, to have the proper tools to be able to prevent that. Now, I definitely agree that we should look into restricting firearms into Canada. That's the area that I definitely think we need to make more investment in. And we also need to make sure that we work with the police force much closer to be able to ensure that they have the resources to be able to deal with it on the ground. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Bruce-Grey-Owen sound.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Look, I want to thank my colleague from the bloc, who I got to know quite well last year in Europe. However, I'd like him to reread the motion. He made a statement that was factually incorrect when he said that our motion is calling for the complete repeal of Bill C-75. The motion does not state that. It states we want to repeal those aspects that are allowing violent repeat offenders to get out there and commit additional violent crimes and murders. My question is simple enough, though, Mr. Speaker. Does the member agree the bail system does need reform, and it needs that reform, like all the premiers have called for, including the Premier of La Belle Province, that we need reform immediately, and it needs to happen now? Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Rivière-des-Mille-Îles. Well, sometimes I'm too quick, sometimes I'm not quick enough. It's a pleasure to have a question from my honourable colleague. You know, I'll give an example that I didn't have the time to mention earlier. The country, which is sixth amongst the most coercive countries in the world, is the United States. The United States incarcerates anyone and everyone. They have a huge incarceration rate. Compared to Canada, it's much higher. So are things better in the United States? Are there fewer violent crimes in the United States than there are in Canada because of their higher incarceration rate? No, absolutely not. Just an obvious example. there have been 213 shootings, mass shootings, over the first 145 days of 2022. There are shootings here, but not a number like that, even if we look at things proportionally. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.